Woo! Any excuse to play some beautiful punk rock right there.
It's very fitting.
Very fitting.
Agent Orange, not the band, but their music appears on this episode.
Several songs, too.
Several.
At this point...
we get a little taste of the opening song, Bloodstains, in this episode. Tiny taste.
Tiny taste, and that's what solidified it, because I was like, this sounds like Agent Orange. I've only listened to Bloodstained.
I saw Agent Orange in Seattle. And like
Jesus, yeah, that's a...
In the 90s. So this is when... we had that punk rock revival thanks to Green Day.
If you listen to our whole episode catalog, you'll find that Murray has a lot of punk stories, and then we dive into a lot of wrestling stories. So,
well, this is... I'm not going to talk about Agent Orange. I'm going to talk about this band that opened for them. They were called Buck 09.
I've heard of them.
You have heard of them?
I have heard of Buck 09, yeah.
They're a ska band.
Yeah.
I hate ska. Someone described it best. It's too positive.
Yeah, when I was coming of age, when was I? I was 20 when I found Streetlight Manifesto, added into the Aquabats and a couple other ska bands, maybe like a Mustard Plug or something, and I was like, ska, fuck yeah. I hit like 25, and I was like, I cannot listen to this anymore.
I learned that the first time I heard ska.
Yeah, well,
but Buck 09, I want to tell you about him. Okay, I'm there. And the guy starts like scatting. He's like, I'm like, what? First of all, I'm already bummed that I'm gonna have to listen to ska for the next 20 minutes.
Did they have the full ensemble? Horns, trombones.
I'm pretty sure
saxophones.
This is like 25 years ago, so it's hazy. I just remember how irritated I was.
I'm glad you got over the experience.
Well, then no, they got worse. You're not gonna. Joe will get this joke. You won't, because this is a one-hit wonder from way before you were born. They did Pass the Dutchie. You know that song? Pass the Dutchie on the left-hand
side.
They covered that song.
Why would they?
I guess it was these white boy like ska dudes doing Pass the Dutchie.
Isn't that weird? Because I think ska evolved from reggae, or like they were part of the same branch and then they split off. They did. And so, tiniest bit of sense.
Yeah,
but
we
I
didn't
still would
want to
not
hear that.
No, I would not.
But that's my Agent Orange story. But 21 Jump Street, Griff. I never watched the show. Much like I think every show we've talked about on Tippy-Taps, I've never watched them. I was aware of them. I have seen this episode we're going to talk about, but it was like years later. I just stumbled on it. I think it was because I heard Agent Orange. I'm like, what the fuck's going on with this? And I just watched the episode.
Yeah, flipping through channels, you hear a little Agent Orange. You're like, fuck, what?
So, I mean, we all know the premise. It's like 20-something cops that look young who go undercover. They cover juvenile delinquent type crime.
Of course, and people know this because Johnny Depp, was in it, and that's probably the only person who came out of it, as far as I know.
Yeah, that was like really big. I mean, Penhall that's Dom DeLuise's son. I don't know if you know who he was.
I know the name because it's a fun name.
Yeah, he's Peter DeLuise, and like I said, Holly Robinson Pete. She was only Holly Robinson at this point. She married Rodney Peete, who, if you're from Detroit, Rodney Peete was our quarterback, like the early '90s, mid '90s.
And that's the hardest period to remember for quarterbacks because we had, I believe, a Stewart, and then we had a Rodney Peete, we had Scott Mitchell, we had Kitna, and I forget
Gus Frerotte for a couple seasons.
Yes. And then eventually, 2008, I think, was finally got Stafford, and we had him for like 14 years. Yeah. Now we got Goff.
Hate Goth. So that's the premise of the show. And I'm gonna probably surprise people because usually when we do these like punk rock tippy taps, it's like we're like laughing at about how ridiculous they are. I think this is a very accurate portrayal of suburban like punk rock angst.
Johnny Depp's character, something Hansen.
Tom Hansen, I believe.
His undercover name was Tom.
But I think they went by their names because Doug Penhall was his name.
That's right. I think you're right about that. So I think he is Thomas when he's normal Tom. But yeah, undercover he was Tom. Anyways, he's nailing these kids. He's like, they're just white suburban kids who are bored out of their mind because their parents are out doing opioids, and they're looking for something to rage against the machine because the suburbs fucking suck, and they found this guy, Lancer, and they're going around and they're bopping with him, and Penhall's losing his mind. Bop! We'll get into that in a minute here, but it's, the cold opening was a little hard to figure out what was going on because I don't recognize a single character, but after the cold opening, like any sitcom that was on TV or a network TV show, it was very easy to pick up what was going on, feel everybody out, understand everything.
Yeah, but I will say this was kind of like my punk rock experience as far as, I mean, I've told people I grew up in like a fucking dying factory town, but I grew up in a county that was like the richest county in Michigan and one of the richest in America. Probably not so much now with all the tech shit in the West Coast, but at the time it was one of the richest. And I always found like the punk kids were the rich fucking kids, and like the poor kids were metal kids.
Mm-hmm.
I like both, but. And it's funny because there's always this whole like, and even in this episode, Tom Hansen says like instant like acceptance. No, I never found like the punk scene in East Detroit there was a lot of gatekeeping going on, but I guess you grow up in a fucking gated community, you know how to keep a gate because it was like the rich kids, and it was like you had to dress a certain way, act a certain way, which I'm like that's what never turned. I like call me crazy, and I know Daffy would say I'm crazy for liking the music, but I never gave a shit about the costume or that shit. I never cared about being part of the scene. I'm using air quotes. And so, like, if anybody who's from the Detroit punk scene wouldn't know who the fuck I am because I never gave a shit about that. So I was never part of that shit.
Oh, no, they probably would recognize you as the guy who was not slamming, standing front row staring daggers into the lead singer.
Yeah, I told Griff a story. I did that. But it was in a punk band. It was a band called The Adorables that my sister made me go see. And I just stared daggers at him just because I was bored. I didn't have any problem with the guy.
It was a good story, so I wanted to use it.
But, yeah, I mean, it was like I always found like metal crowds be way more chill and accepting
even
than the punk
today.
crowds.
Like we've talked about the dying music scene around here. You still get concerts and shows. They're just like not filled out anymore. Like people don't go see shows.
Right.
I'm basing this reflecting on what Murray's experienced compared to what I experienced. Like I'll pop into shows once, twice a week. And I see bands that are like going to festivals today in shithole bars with 12 people. Like a year later, they're on the main stage at like a big music venue because I don't know, there's just not enough touring bands or something. I don't fucking know. But whenever we go to a metal show, those people 100% friendliest. Right. Always hugging each other. Like they seem like they go to every show together almost.
Hey, when I hit off my joint, like don't even know the fuck I am.
Exactly. They're like, you know, if somebody passes out, they're like, hey, this is Todd. Let's get him over here. He's got an inhaler. Let's get some, you know, let's get that going again. Let's get a circulation. Everybody's so caring in the metal world. It's the loveliest bunch, and yet they're listening to the heaviest music as well.
Yeah, I mean, I can't even speak on what the punk scene in Detroit is like. I can't remember the last punk show I was, and the ones I were at were like fucking bands that were relevant when I was young. Mm-hmm. So like the only thing be old fuckers at those shows.
Right.
So
don't have a good contrast there.
I can't say, but they hit a lot in this episode. They hit a lot. I'm like, oh, yep, that was totally the kind of shit that went down. So this is a very accurate episode, my view of what the suburban punk rock kid kind of scene.
I gotta just shoe in one more like concert experience because we've talked about the metal and how they're great and how the punk scene and not gatekeepers because they were the upper middle class, maybe lower upper class type gatekeeping kids.
Right.
So in my experience, being 15 years out of high school now, I don't really follow a lot of the bands I grew up liking in high school, but I've gone to a couple shows.
I know you love Disturbed still.
Disturbed.
We're going to go see that Disturbed cover band. It's our first post-pandemic
down at the
concert.
Token Lounge. Right. We're good. Wait, Token Lounge? Yeah.
Yeah, of
Token
course
Lounge.
It was a Token fucking Lounge.
It's so
That's where like washed up metal bands go.
It's so funny because for years I heard about that place. Then I ended up
I've never been there.
I ended up moving like a block away from it. Still didn't understand what the Token Lounge was. And then I moved away from there and went to a show at the Token Lounge. It's like, this is the Token right here? So that was bizarre. But I've gone to a few bands that I listened to in high school. And these motherfuckers are the worst people to see a show with. I've been strangled from behind. Man put his hands around my neck, Bart Simpson, Homer Simpson style, and was trying
I've
to
had people
choke me.
try to like pick fights with me. I just didn't take the bait. But
Yeah,
I know you're not punk enough, kind of thing.
It wasn't even that. No words were exchanged. The guy just put his hands around my neck and started strangling me, and I was like, what? And everybody else around was like, what the fuck? And so that guy disappeared. Another show, some guy, I don't know what was going on there, but he just decided, and Murray loves throwing this one, you haven't earned it. And this is what it's referring to. I want to say it might have been Death from Above, 1979. And so up there, like a row or two, slamming with all the other people that are my age, and some dweeb who's not even. Me and Murray have talked about we're not Chippendale dancers because we're not 6 foot,
Right.
So this guy's telling me you haven't earned. He's even shorter than me, so he's getting like under
You had a little guy like pick on
He
you?
was like 2 inches shorter than me, but he was like getting under my armpits and like trying to like wedge in under me, and I was like, okay, stop, and he starts going, you didn't earn it. And then his friends start surrounding me, and they're like, yeah, you didn't earn it. I was like, what the fuck is this?
You didn't earn your spot is basically what I think.
I had been there the whole time, so I don't even know how I didn't earn it when I was there the whole time.
Sometimes you just kind of drift. You don't even know you're moving.
It's true. I agree with that 100%. But it was like those people were trying to wedge in front of me and not the other way around. Whatever. I'm not into like that whole like, scene. So I was just like, all right, whatever. And, other people were like pushing him away because he was being the fucking asshole. But I ended up just popping outside because that was at Magic Stick where they have that balcony.
Yeah.
So I popped out there and had a good time. Talked to some ladies. You
earned it.
I earned that lady's number. I never called her. She was one of these upper class white kids.
Fucking snobs. So let's get into this fucking episode. Starts out cold open, like Griff said. He was lost. I was lost. We've never watched this show.
I don't know any of the kids. I don't know any of the characters. I don't know what's going on.
First thing we hear is some fucking Agent Orange. So we're like, all right, cool.
I'm ready to
it was
pop.
cool that they actually used a real punk band instead of some generic, like they made up some shit. Like,
Yeah.
I love pain from our classic Chips punk episode. So there's this kid tagging. He's spray painting. Friendly neighbors. We see the sign KKK. We're like, holy shit, what the fuck's up?
On one of those real estate signs you just post in the ground.
Or like, vote for Joe Biden kind of sign.
So nothing like, this is what I used to do. I'm admitting to a crime here. I used to go around and spray the John McCain signs.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. I was real fucking punk rock back then.
Griff is. I'm learning. See, this is the funny thing. Griff is the delinquent of this group here. I'm the good person. Griff's the monster. Yeah, I bet people think it's the opposite. The more I learn about Griff, I'm like, man, you're a piece of shit.
Even took some of the John McCain signs, spray painted, and put them out on a busy road.
Hero.
Oh yeah, the American hero. Yeah.
Yeah, he got tortured.
Okay, he did. He's still horrible.
So, yeah, there's it says KKK. We're like, holy shit, what did we pick the wrong episode? This is about like racism or something. No.
For real. So, okay, we've just learned that one of the gangs is the Friendly Neighborhood. It's the Flanders Gang.
Yeah, they're and I want to point out because like a lot of shows, syndicated shows, they all were like filmed in Vancouver. Mm-hmm. So the Canadians. So they spell Friendly Neighbor. We can tell this was filmed even though it takes place in L.A. It's supposed to take place in L.A. They spell neighbors with a U like Canadians and British people do. So we already know there's something off right now. Or maybe they're trying to be like, like some like American punk kids try to adopt a Cockney accent, as you would say.
Like I pointed out while we just watched the episode again, joke around with each other. And I said there should have been a British punk in one of these gangs. Or at least a kid pretending to be
This is a bunch of bollocks.
Can you just imagine Griff in this gang pulling out a Cockney accent?
That was a very good Cockney accent.
Was it?
Not a good Cockney accent, but a very good Cockney accent. So and then we learned that this is KKK territory, and the Friendly Neighbors have invaded.
So what, like 50s truck with a wheel on the front of the spare on the front of the grill comes flying through, just driving across lawns. Get in, man! The KKK are
so we're thinking like the real KKK are coming.
But again, we're talking about an upper middle class white suburban neighborhood.
Right.
So of course that's not the kind of shit that's happening.
So they start they're like chasing each other down the road. They're like, a foot apart from each other.
Mm-hmm. It looked like a scene from Grease.
Right. And does one of the KKK kids grab the Friendly Neighbor?
I somehow blacked out both times the scene was on, but that's how I understand Brian explaining it. Is one of them pulled him because he was like in the bed of the truck and he was leaning over something, trying to spray paint the car, I think.
Yeah, that's what they were trying to do.
And so they yipped him. They yipped him right out. I'm using that.
And so he's like hanging in between, and then he gets yanked out, and then just fucking tumbles all in the road. And
our other car, which was like what, a rust colored car?
Yeah.
The KKK car flying by, just finally stops, and then you see this character look out, and this is why I was confused. It's like, who is this person? Because he's looking back at this crumpled.
And he also looked like he was 25.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He's looking back at the guy who just got ripped out of the truck, and he's like, "Come on, man, please get up.
Come on,
please
get up."
So I was like, wait, I know this is about undercover teens or adults as teens. So is he one of the undercover kids? So I was very confused. Spray paint kid, as I like to call him. I think we hear his name.
Spray paint the wall. Little black flag there.
I like that.
Yeah, what's he do?
I was gonna say I think his name was like Sporka or something.
I don't know.
I think they dropped that. I'm calling him Spray paint kid. So
we don't talk about him for the rest of the episodes. You might as well.
He pops up one other time in a meaningful way.
Yeah.
So he's slowly getting back up. His friends are helping him back up, and our driver of the KKK car is all excited. He's like, "Oh yes, he's okay. We're gonna learn. He's
not okay.
The
kids aren't all right.
Yeah, he's not. Yeah."
So then we just bust in 21 Jump Street.
Neither of us remember this tune. How it goes. So
sung by Holly Robinson of the show, the girl on the show.
Oh, okay. So
we cut to the headquarters, which is in a church. It's a converted church where the 21 Jump Streeters. I guess I'm assuming the address is 21 Jump Street. I'm assuming. I don't know. And we see Captain Fuller, who I remember as Mr. X from the X-Files. But, of course, he's a black captain, so all captains have to be black.
Oh, yeah.
And scream it. But he doesn't scream.
No, he doesn't.
Sometimes he does. Sometimes.
He screams, but you know he's doing it to get the best results for the best neighborhood outcome.
So we meet our heroes for this episode, Tom, played by Johnny Depp Hansen, and Penhall, played by Peter DeLuise. And Fuller's like, "Look, Hansen, you're on this case." And Hansen, he likes fucking Neil Sedaka. He's like, there's nothing to do with punk rock at all. I tell you, I dated a girl. This is when we were 20.
Hold on, everybody. We're going to the adult conversation. This is the golan-globus love line.
No, this isn't an After Dark.
Go ahead and call in right now.
This is an After Dark episode. Her favorite, she's 20, all right? Her favorite singer was Neil Diamond.
How does that happen?
I have no fucking clue.
She into the chest hair and the hair? Well, he did have great hair. So
did he? He had hair like Show from our upcoming Gage 2 episode.
Really? Did he wear a wig?
No, he was like balding. Like, he always had that balding kind of...
Oh, I had one record that I got from my history teacher. She gave it to me, and he has this...
Did you have sex with her?
Murray.
Why is the teacher giving you a gift?
I mean...
Inappropriate.
I don't know what to tell you here. She gave me a gift.
He's trying to say he had sex with her.
Murray. Did I...
Did you give
aren't you glad I sidelined this into the love line, the golan-globus love line?
You give the salami, which you had a reference, to your teacher.
That was a bad reference if it's just salami.
Hey, Joe we had on the last episode is cracking up.
She gave me the 2%, I'll say that much.
Ooh, whoa. Yeah, I thought you did all over her face. So he's like, look. And then fucking Penhall, who's straight up hardcore punk, he's like, what the fuck?
Why am I not on this case? Look at me. I slam. I jump. I dive. I do.
He's like, Hansen, have you ever slammed? Have you ever been caught in a mosh? Have you ever staged? Have you ever got your dick sucked in a filthy, shit-covered bathroom with no stalls?
Can I tell you how many times I've been trying to take a piss and there's just one suggestive little note on the door to say don't bust in the bathroom when someone's taking a shit, and they bust in, and I'm trying to fucking shit into a cannonball
Hansen, have you ever earned it?
Hansen, playing it very cool. Well, bud, just hold it right there. I'm a natural. I'll figure it out.
And then Fuller goes, look, Penhall, these are educated, upper-middle-class white kids.
You're a fucking idiot.
You're a real punk. You want the fake punks. Hansen, you're the man for the job.
2 minutes in, the show has already called out the punks Murray was gatekeeped by.
Right.
And
then Hansen's like, look, I'm going to do it because Captain Ballhouse, he's chomping at the bits to just bust some heads.
I feel like because they couldn't swear in this show and they didn't get into...
There's some of the worst, non-swear
A lot of hard punks saying, heck!
Scrap this!
Oh, you guys should...
Someone actually says gall darn.
Gall darn. That's very Canadian, too. I think these kids are all Canadian.
And Fuller's like, look, Hansen, we need to get to the kids. kids. We need to get through these. These are white kids. They're obviously going through shit. We can't put them in jail.
They need to do it fast because they know about Ball House. We don't know about Ball House.
No.
But Ball House...
I don't know if Ball House is a recurring character. He's always wanting to bust heads.
I have to imagine he is because Ball House is an ACAB cop. This is the fucking shittiest person because he's like, look, if we don't settle these teens down, they're cutting curfew. 9 o'clock curfew. And if we can't get them under control, we're just going to have to murder them. Right. That is literally the tactic of this show that's going to unfold.
So Fuller, as a black man, is saying, look, these are just white kids. They're good kids. It's just good, clean fun. We need to get through what's causing this. There's got to be a root cause. It can't be just because they're just born criminals. They're white and they're rich.
And that's where we get a beautiful transition. We're hearing great music blasting out that
Slug
Asian orange
place. I forget that it was called the Slug.
I didn't even notice. And we're slowly kind of panning out as we watch this guy.
We also did find out that Penhall dropped a, you don't know KKK? The Clean Cut Kids?
The Clean Cut Kids.
The greatest band, the greatest gang, the greatest floor wax.
They're everything. Everything. You don't even know what a mohawk looks like.
So the KKK are at the Slug Palace, wherever the fuck.
We're outside. We're going down the sidewalk. We're slowly watching as we're scanning up, panning out, boots, leather.
He had the red checker bondage pants.
Yeah, with zippers on it and everything. He's got suspenders hanging down. That's kind of a little ska.
I was explaining to Griff, like, because he knows Hot Topic. Like, that was around when he was, like, in his era.
Great. Yeah, I'm glad you brought this up because I said to Murray, what the fuck? Because when I saw a kid do this, I mean, in my age of going to concerts in 2003, if I saw someone, I was like, oh, you shop at Hot Topic.
Right.
Very cool.
No, you would have to find a like special punk rock boutique. I remember in Royal Oak, there was a place, it was called Incognito. That's where you could get a lot of your punk shit. I remember, you want to talk about some gatekeeping. I went there because that's the only place, unless you went to a show, you could not fucking get punk rock band t-shirts. So you'd have to go to these special places because there was no Hot Topic, like we just said. And I wanted the Exploited shirt. You probably, even you don't know the Exploited, you know the fucking cover. It's the skull with a mohawk. Mm-hmm. It's on the Let's Start a War.
You're talking
album.
to the audience, of course, because I know the Exploited because you have taught me the way of the Exploited.
It's the Let's Start a War album.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, can I? Because it was like up on the wall. Can I get this in like an extra large? Comes back with just a generic Exploited shirt, and I'm like, this isn't what I asked for. It was like she has such like the bitchy like punk girl why am I getting this for you?
One shirt is the same shirt. Come on.
No, it's not.
Why can't my victory be your victory?
I want the skull. I don't want just to do that. Anyway, so yeah, you'd have to you'd have to search for this shit.
Yeah,
you had to earn it.
Blasted us with that one. So we continue to scan up. He's got the leather on. He's got T-shirts.
He's got
cut
the spiked up Sid Vicious hair.
T-shirts,
dangling earring.
T-shirts like the safety pinned onto the back of his leather jacket. He's got studs down the shoulders and everything.
Perfect.
He's ready. He's blending in. He gets right in there. Punk band's going crazy. We have a new front man.
A bald-headed chick just gets in his face.
Was it a bald-headed chick?
Yeah.
Because I'm just
That's why it was crazy, Griff. It's a bald-headed guy. Who cares?
I'm just thinking of the one dude who had the top shape.
Yeah, I saw
and
that
then the long flowing bozo.
Yeah.
He shaved it that way, though.
Yes.
Because he's punk and he's cool.
And so we see the Clean Cut Kids are on stage. The music is Agent Orange, obviously, but it's the actors playing the role. And he's just loving. He's never been to a punk show in his life. He doesn't know anything about punk, but he's immediately just latches on. He's cutting a mosh. He's just slamming.
Yeah.
He's in awe of Kid stage diving.
Oh yeah.
Kid gets on the amp, dives off. He's like, I gotta fucking do that. I gotta ingratiate myself to these fucking kids.
He's doing it kind of drone-like. Like, I don't see him lick his lips or see any kind of glint of joy in his eye. He's like, I'm doing this because this is what Penhall would do. I got to show up Penhall. Right. I got to slam. I got to stage dive. He sees his moment. He slips up to the front. The fucking bouncers chuck him 30 feet into the air, and he lands, and he's like, oh, this is pretty good. But then he notices somebody's climbing the speaker stack.
Right.
And Penhall even said, you wouldn't jump off the speaker stack. So he's like, I got to show him up yet again. Right. So he watches, and the kid's up there doing some fucking air guitars and everything. It's just dorky as all hell. Right. He rips his shirt off He's got his nipples out. He flicks one. He puts an ice cube on the other.
Wow. Where'd you get the ice cube?
Dude, he had it in his pocket, I guess.
Wow.
So
He's got to be cool.
Yeah, he's got. Ooh.
Dad joke. So so then Hanson's like, I got to do that, and he does it, and he they're in awe. The KKK kids, the gang, earn his respect, or he earned their respect.
Yeah, there's a lot of noticing. We keep seeing Brian. He's nodding in approval. Right. I like how when he dove down, like you see out of the cheerleader squads, how they like grab their arms together to form like the net and catch people. Right. That's what the punks do.
Right.
The punks all form that net and catch him and lift him back up. And then, Hanson's...
I got another. So this is actually at a metal show, but you've been to Harpo's.
Oh, my God. Harpo's is nuts. Explain the dip.
The dip?
At Harpo's? How the stage is 45 feet up?
The stage, no, it's not that high, but it is like 8 feet, something like that.
It's more than that.
No, it's not that high. It looked that high to you, but it's not, because it was an old like theater and it was an orchestra pit.
Okay.
So the pit, as we're using quotation marks, she had the pit, and then it's a huge club. This was our heavy metal club in Detroit, and it's in one of the shittiest parts. Like every heavy metal punk place is in the shittiest part, whatever city you're in. But a guy got on stage and he did like Jesus Christ pose backwards, and he just fell back, and people parted like the Red Sea, to use another Bible reference.
Double Bible reference.
And it was a fucking concrete floor, and this dude got fucked up. Even like the lead singer was like, "God damn, somebody check on that motherfucker."
Oh, Jesus.
But all right, so getting back,
his back hitting the ground was probably louder than their fucking music.
Yeah,
that shit. Like, I love that venue because it slopes straight down. You hit the orchestra pit, and then it's a padded wall that goes 8 feet up, and it's bizarre. Yeah. It's crazy.
And so the gang, the KKK kids, notice him, and they go outside, like smoke a cigarette, drink some beer, and he follows them. Mm-hmm. And he's like, "Hey,"
he warms straight up to Brian. He knows that's his in. Did they show a picture of Brian, or did he just immediately know, I got to talk to Brian?
I don't know. Maybe they had KKK shit on their like jackets.
Maybe,
I don't know,
because I never understood how we picked it out, and even when we watched it again, I didn't see like a headshot of Brian. He just gravitated. He's that good. If this character were real, Tom Hansen, he would be one of the Golan-Globus Theater's investigative journalists.
Right, we'd hire him.
Yeah,
but he latches on, and he's like, "Hey, I like punk rock too.
Where are we gonna go to drink?" He put his arm over his shoulder. Where are we gonna go to drink next,
Coming
buds?
on really hard.
Yeah.
And it kind of turns Brian off.
He's
like, "Whoa, what do you mean we?" And then as they're talking, Lancer, who's the lead singer of the KKK band, comes out. He's like, hey, sissies, what the fuck's up? We gonna party or what? And they're like, "Oh, we sure are, Lancer." So you can see that Lancer, he's like the leader, because like this is another accurate thing. There'd be, oh my God, if you're like an adult, it's the cringiest thing, seeing a grown man hanging out with teenage kids.
Dude, they nailed this.
And they're 100%. Only hanging out with him because he can get them beer, is why they're hanging out with him. The saddest one was the aging skinhead, because when I don't know, I can't speak on it now, but when I was like late 80s, early 90s, when I was going on a lot of shows, skinhead scene was huge in Detroit. I don't know why in Detroit it would be so damn huge, but it was. Yeah. And you'd see like this pathetic like fucking aging skinheads, and like they're hanging out with like 15-year-old kids and shit. And
I mean, the craziest I've been to is the Anarchy House. I forget what it's called, but they do shows there, and I've gone to a couple of like their big nights they have where they play music for like 9 hours. And I've never seen a skinhead there. I've seen a lot of rude people.
Yeah, I haven't seen skinheads in years, but they were all over the fuck. They're fucking assholes. Take out the racism. They were just fucking assholes.
Yeah.
And they're always trying to fuck with people and crowd kill. And they would do a thing where they would like get in the back of the hall, like St. Andrews, which is like a small concert venue here. And they would link arms like a chain and then rush the fucking stage.
It's a long, narrow hallway. So it's like 15 feet across. So doing something like that would be fucking obnoxious.
I fucking hate skinheads. So anyway, they're like, well, maybe next time we'll hang out with you, Hanson. Maybe. We'll check you out at school tomorrow. Also, they assume he goes to the school that they go to.
I don't know why, but I don't know. Cops
and then they give him shit like, why are you in the school later on? They're like, first of all, they assume he's going to school.
Yes, exactly. They ask him right off the bat, why aren't you going to school? And he says, I just got to town.
from Oklahoma.
From Wisconsin. I hung out with Fonzie.
So after the concert, Penhall picks up Hanson, and he wants all the deets, man. He's like, yeah, I'm sure you were just in the corner playing with yourself, making notes. He's like, you fuck, I wasn't. I slam danced. What? You slam danced and I missed it?
Oh, my God.
He's like blown away. He's like, none of that. I jumped off the fucking Marshall amps. What?
They instantly accept me. I gotta tell you, he pulls out a pipe and lights it up, puts on a little jacket and everything. I gotta tell you, these kids, they're just like any other kids.
Yeah, they're just good kids.
All right,
man.
they just want to kind of rebel against what their parents have formed around them. They have a pecking order. They have no idea what they're doing. They're just blindly following.
You can't expect them to live up to the social norms. They're just kids.
They are just kids.
They're good, rich, white kids. We need to understand these kids.
And we get to understand the kids a little better because they're leaving. We're talking about the KKK kids.
Right.
They are leaving the parking lot, which this is the we've gone to a lot of trashy, venues and everything. God love them. I wish they were still around. I hope they haven't closed down, but I know a couple of them already have.
Anyone knows me, first of all. I don't like paying service fees for tickets.
No,
I don't like paying for parking.
Oh, my
I
God.
only pay for parking if I... That was the one good thing about, for a while, Detroit's... we actually are having a renaissance in Detroit now. Shit being built up, but it was for years, it was a dead city.
And by renaissance, you mean Buffalo Wild Wings is coming in.
Exactly. Well, yeah, exactly. But one good thing was parking was free. Like, you don't have to pay to fucking park any fucking where.
Well, I mean, as of pre-COVID, I still hadn't really paid for park. I paid for parking one time.
You got to search for it.
When I got I got it pretty narrowed down, but one time I was super late and I pulled into a lot and it was marked 15 and they charged me 20. I was like, you fucking assholes. God damn you. When I had my tiny truck, which is the size of an old sedan or a current sedan, they charged me triple. They were like, yeah, you got a truck. And I was like, motherfucker, it's smaller than a Focus.
I would have left. I would have looked for a street to park on.
Yeah, triple was $15.
Still,
it was annoying.
It's the principle.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the guy, normally you pay when you arrive. This one you pay when you leave.
Yeah, you give them the ticket and you pay when you leave.
It's not like a parking garage where they actually do that in the parking garage.
It was a rocky empty lot with glass everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the guy just had the audacity to ask the $5.
Hello? Tickets. All right, that'll be $5, boys.
I need a ticket.
And they all have to, amongst themselves, like, who's got the $5?
Shit, I don't have any money. I mean, shucks, I don't have any.
Yeah, it was shucks. It was shucks.
And they finally come up with the $5, and like the guy smirks. Like, what are you smirking at? Well, you fucking scumbag punk rockers coming up, scratching up $5.
Yeah.
And that just hits the nerve of Lancer because Lancer obviously is an insecure guy. He's hanging out with children.
Yes.
And so they come back. Is Brian was driving?
Brian was driving.
Brian's he's almost killed 2 people now.
Yes.
But he's a good kid because he gets good grades.
Yes. He's in all the advanced courses.
They drive through the little kiosks that the parking attendant has. Almost killed this guy.
Yeah.
Because he dared to smirk at them.
But we do learn later on that Brian is into that kind of thing. Like near murder, scaring the shit out of somebody, but not actual murder.
Yeah, so he's a good kid. Like you said, he's a good kid.
Yeah, he just likes to scare the shit out of people. Like run up to a cop and shoot a gun off by him just to spook him.
Yeah, he just wants to make you think he's going to kill you.
Yeah. All right, bell rings. Class is in. We're finally going to the first day of school. I like this outside. There was
not the first day. This is the middle of the school year.
Well, yeah, it's middle of school. It's our first day of going to school. It's also Tom's first day of going to school.
That's why I pointed it out. Yeah.
Okay. And we're like seeing Brian coming from outside. He's got all of his droogs by him.
Got his fucking turtleneck on with a gigantic denim jacket.
Black turtleneck sweater. Blue denim jacket. No studs, no bands.
Gigantic.
Nothing.
Oh, he's swimming in this jacket.
Yeah. No bands, no nothing. I've gone to school with plenty
By the way, this episode is everywhere. It's on Tubi. It's on YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
Mean Streets and Pastel Houses.
Go do your research. And it's fascinating because punk on the streets, child in the school sheets.
Right.
Yeah.
It makes perfect sense. Once again, like I said, they're just like, they're hitting all the beats.
Like, even his friends were wearing their punk colors.
Yeah.
But Brian, when he goes to school, is a completely different person. He grabs, like...
He's a chameleon.
he grabs like a cute, like innocent
Suburban
looking girl.
Yeah.
Who me and Murray had a long conversation. Is this kid's name Darby? Because he goes, "Hey, Darby," but Darby's the girl. Okay, and so we go into our first class, teach by Terry. He's got a gun to every kid's head.
Yeah.
This is why we're doing this episode, because Murray was like, we tied in with class.
It's a nice chaser for class, which has been big for us. Thank you for listening.
Yeah, thanks everybody.
But yeah, so that's like the class lets out, and the teacher's like, Frank. He says Frank.
Okay, he literally says fucking Frank. And oh my God, I've talked too much about my notes already, but I was so fierce. I turned on closed captioning for this because I couldn't catch this kid's name. And we're like, is it Darby? Is it Lieutenant Larry? It's
You know the things we go through to make the notes for you guys.
Oh my God.
But yeah, and this is our second X-File character. The cigarette smoking man is the fucking teacher of this kid.
Oh, okay.
And he's like, look, you're another A+ for you, but I've noticed that you're kind of withdrawn now. You're not playing football anymore.
You used to be in the chess club. You used to be the assistant librarian. I noticed the full-time librarian.
You used
is
to have
looking a
sex
little
with
lonely.
this hot Spanish teacher. You're not pleasing her anymore.
What is going on with these kids?
And he's just like, look, maybe I'm just not into that shit anymore, okay? That stuff anymore.
Brian, are you Frank? Excuse me. Are you having the time of your life right now? I mean, this is the glory days. I remember when I was Brian. Frank, can you sit down real quick? I gotta tell you, when I was your age, the librarians and the Spanish teachers were even hotter, and I fucked both of them.
Wow.
And the lunch ladies, I fucked them too. And by fuck, I mean shucks. I gave them a corning because it's network TV.
And he's like, look, Mr. Cigarette Smoking Man, I don't have time for this. Cafeteria waits. So they go to the cafeteria. That's where you see Hanson. He's got his 2%. He's got he's got the mac and cheese, whatever the fuck. I don't even remember what they would give. We didn't. I explained to Griff and it blew his mind. We didn't have a cafeteria at my fucking school.
Well, yours is even more crazy because you guys just sat on the floor in the gym.
No, we didn't. We just didn't have lunch.
Oh, you just didn't have a lunch. Okay,
Yeah,
I couldn't remember.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
We just went home.
And then Joe was saying that's what they did
I bet
too.
at one time when my mom went, they probably did, like, you could just go off campus and get something, but they wouldn't let you leave the campus.
I wonder,
because it was like, remember, it was like a
old
prison when I went.
Were you? Is this high school?
Yeah.
Did you have the same
We
situation?
did have cafeteria in middle school and grade school. Yes, we just did not in high school.
So in grade school, what I would do was walk home. They let me just walk home.
Yeah, one time, yeah, I'm sure when like I said, when my mom went, they could do that too. But when I went, no, you couldn't leave.
Yeah, they let me walk home like every day. I would walk home like every day for lunch when I was going through.
I could have
1 through 6.
I only lived a couple blocks from my school.
That was my situation. I lived a block away, and they would just let me walk home. So
well, why not? If you can't, you're back in time. Who cares?
It was a good time. I loved it.
But, then, like, it was like, oh, my God, someone's going to molest kids. Keep them in school or whatever that shit.
So, anyways, this is our introduction of Dougie into the mix.
Yes. Our man Penhall. He went undercover as Dougie.
Mm-hmm.
And, well, no, this is not where we were introduced to him. He's talking to Hanson, but he doesn't go to the KKK kids. He meets the KKK kids later. He talks to Hanson, just like, hey, I'm your backup. Just, let me know what's up. He's got the gigantic fucking trench coat on. He's swimming in that.
Yeah.
And then, because Hanson's still working these guys. He's not in yet.
Oh, yeah.
So he's just like, he just sits down at their table, and Brian's like, what do you think you're doing?
Well, here's the thing. I can't eat standing up because it makes my stomach a little sour.
And he's like, well, that sounds accurate. That sounds, I can believe that.
Okay.
And he's like, well, what are you doing here in the middle of the school year? I'm from Oklahoma.
Yeah, my mom, she couldn't handle me anymore, so she sent me to live with my stepdad.
Yeah, because we know, like, step parents, like, if they're not married to your mom anymore, they're gonna want to raise you. Like, you're not my kid, yet I'm gonna raise you.
And Jimmy or Spook in the back there, it was this kid who always had like one
Spooky.
He had like a devil's lock, but it was curled hair that flowed over his nose and everything. And he's like, "Hey, you seem pretty all right to me. We all have weird home lives to talk about. My dad gives me a kiss on the lips before I go to bed." And he goes, "My
B-O-Y Tuber. Played by, I want to point out, if any of you like, and I know if our boy Pigeon's still listening to us, he would know because he loves Beverly Hills 90210. Played by Jason Priestley, the star of Beverly Hills 90210.
Oh shit, that's him.
Tober. Yeah, he's like, this guy's living on the street selling his ass under a bridge.
Oh my god! You think he's warming his butthole? No, he's selling his butthole.
Cold as ice.
He met a woman, Lee Min, there, but she disappeared.
So they're bonding over their suburban traumas, you know. So
yes, their suburban trauma. I couldn't get a PS2 because I already had an Xbox.
I fucking hate my mom. She's a bitch. And so they're bonding, and they're like. Then Brian goes, you're all right. Maybe you can meet the man himself, Lancer.
Because he asked him, hey, that band, KKK, I noticed your gang has the same name. That's kind of weird.
Yeah, why are you naming yourself after a racist organization? Couldn't you do anything else? Anything else?
I mean, I guess I get it because KKK stands for the clean-cut kids, and they're just trying to be edgy suburban white kids.
Right, yeah.
I think that's 100% accurate. But the fact that they're running around in school, not Brian, of course, because we've already talked about it. He's turtleneck sweater.
He's that poser, is what he is.
Oh, yeah. But all the other droogs, they're all wearing the shit.
Wearing the fucking colors.
They're wearing the colors. I mean, we just needed the fucking dude from Class of 84 with the swastika shirt. No, I'm just being ironic, man. It's no big deal. All right, but yeah, he asked him, what's with the name KKK? Are you, like, just knocking off the band? Which, of course, is you can't do that if you're punk. Oh, you want to know about why we do the name? Oh, why don't you hear it from the horse's mouth? Excuse me, I burped.
So later on, if you're, like, really hardcore punks, you hang out at a diner.
Just, like, normal diner. Like,
Normal
you've been
diner.
to dive bars, dive diners, normal.
Yeah, and we see Lancer. He's holding cord. He's like, see, man, the system is trying to keep you down. They tell you what to dress, how you dress, what to wear, how you think, which is basically what Lancer's telling us because this is also suburban punk. Like, so once again, very accurate.
Yeah.
And he says,
what do they call that? Projecting?
he's projecting. That's it, projection. And he sees, he can already, because this guy, he's so insecure, obviously he's hanging out with children again, that he sees a new person. He's kind of a little threatened by Hanson. He's like, who's this guy?
Yeah, who's this dweeb walking in? Who's this DWEEB? That's why they said BOY, is because Lancer always likes to spell out,
Right.
That's his thing. He throws it.
So, and that why Spooky was trying to, like, mimic
That's what
him?
I'm saying,
Yeah.
is that he was in, yeah.
So, just as he's about to get in the face of Hanson, some boys come in with Dougie, who's Penhall. Because I guess he was, like, lurking in the background.
Dougie Jones?
No. And he brings him in.
That's a very Dougie Jones answer. Coffee.
Okay. So they drags in Doug, and they're about to pummel the fuck, because he's a dweeb, man.
He
He's got a baby nang chin.
He does not look like a teenager. He's got a fucking duster on.
Gigantic duster.
He's got a button-up shirt. He's got slicked back little name chin.
He's got kind of a new wave thing going on, a little bit.
I agree, yeah. Like a business new wave.
Yeah.
Like he looks like he's going to be selling you insurance.
Got the skinny tie. And they're about to pummel him, and then Hanson thinks on his feet. He's like, no, whoa.
This is good. I'm sorry. I really appreciate about the show. Seeing him think on his feet like this and everything, they build up tension pretty well because they're undercover and they got to get to these kids. So it works out really well. And he hears Lancer telling them, take this kid out back and just kick his fucking teeth in. And Dougie, Tom steps in, and he's got a mouthful.
Right. He's like, look. This is Dougie, man. He's my stepbrother. Sure, he's a dweeb, but he's all right. And if you kick his ass and my fucking old man finds out, he's going to kick my ass, and I'm going to come back and kick your ass.
So why don't we save me the trouble, and I'll take you out back right now with your fucking flight of seagulls, stupid mullet hair.
Combination of flight of the conchords and flock of seagulls. Flight of the seagulls.
They were also avoiding copyright, so they went with Flight of the Seagulls. He did have dumb mullet.
They all had dumb hair.
Oh, it was awful. Why don't I take your Flight of Seagulls ass out back and just handle it right now? I'll wrap it all up and send you back to Edmonton. Oh, this new guy's got a little mouth on him. I kind of like that. And he's just relaxing a little bit. And me and Murray are trained. We know fast and loose. We're Sensei Seagal students. Right. And we see he's doing a Sensei Seagal disarmament. He's disarming Hansen so we can go into his knife and pull out his little...
Go into his knife and pull out his pocket? Go into his pocket and pull out his little switchblade. And, Hansen's a trained cop, okay? So he goes into, like, fight or flight mode, immediately grabs and puts his arm behind his back.
Oh, I see you're a Sensei student yourself. All right. That's cool.
Lancer, obviously...
You think I was really going to stab you, man? All right.
Obviously humiliated, so he tries to cover up. Stab
He
you.
fluffs his jacket. He combs his hair. It was actually a knife comb, so he just combs his hair.
Like, you're all right, Hansen. Maybe you could hang out with us. So
and then they do. Like, I'm pretty sure the scene transitions to them still there.
Or in another diner.
Or
There's
in
a lot of diners
diner.
they go to.
But we recognize the menu of this diner. Atomic Vinny Slam.
Oh, man. Yeah, this is 20 minutes, you get attacked.
Yeah.
Of the diarrhea kind. But a friendly neighbors show up, and they're pissed because their boy's in the hospital. So they want revenge.
Yeah, it's the Flanders King. I was like, the friendly neighbors? What are you talking about? Oh, this is so Canadian, man.
And they call out the KKK boys, and the KKK boys are ready for fights. So they come out. And we get a fucking 8-year-old. We're going to fucking break your neck. We're going to stomp on you. We're going to piss on your mother's face. And they're all like, oh, yeah, are you? They open the door. He goes, ah, shit.
As soon as they open the door, why did they unlock the door? As soon as they open the door, they just fucking take off. And all the droogs are like, yeah, we got him, man. We fucking showed them. Who's boss? And Brian's just like, yeah, we really did a number on them, and he's just not into this anymore.
He's just disillusioned.
And Tom is seeing this. They're reading each other's eyes. And so they hang out outside the diner in the parking lot, and they're just smoking cigarettes like cool kids do, and they're talking about vandalism and punk rock and anarchy like, kids do. And Dougie's trying to hang, but he's having a hard time. Because he hasn't switched out his clothes, so they're still not accepting of him.
Well, his role is of a dweeb. We know that Penhall's hardcore as fuck, but his role is a dweeb. So he's just like, all right, guys, it's almost 9 o'clock, curfew. We got to get home. Our old man is going to kick our asses.
And that's when Tober pipes up. Dougie, can I call you Doug? I think we need to change your clothes, change your attitude, change your name, and make you... more, and make us accept you a little bit more.
Make you more of an individual.
You make you more of an individual. Like, first off, just change your name. Like me, I changed my name. I was Topher before. Now I'm Tober.
It's like, what kind of fucking name is Tober? What does that even mean?
After my favorite month?
And he gives this look, what? Great facials by Penhall.
Like, what? Penhall kills it. October, the greatest death month of all time.
That's when everything dies.
Oh.
And then Penhall's like, look, I got to fucking bail. See you guys later. He takes off. Brian, Tom's still working Brian, so they decide to head over to Brian's place, have a slumber party.
Yeah. We're going to have a little slumber party. They're walking up the stairs. Isn't your mom going to know a stranger's coming in her house at 3:30 in the morning? My mom knows. If I come home with anybody, they is cool.
So they go to the room. Brian's like, look, man, I got to study. Is that not going to offend you, is it? And Hansen's playing cool. No, man, that's cool.
He's got the... Murray, we got to talk about this bedroom. Yeah. Perfect white suburban kid bedroom. He's got his own personal computer, perfectly spread out bed sheets. Clothes are laid out for the next day, all ironed, the fucking overflowing. He's got 3 different jean jackets, and it's all ironed out.
Porsche poster on the wall.
You got to have big dreams, You got to have ambitions.
And he's like, yeah, so you're like in the advanced classes, aren't you? He's like, this gets too important. Like, I have to reach this kid.
Right.
And he's like, yeah, well, if I get to the advanced classes, I get to skip my freshman year in college, man.
Yeah. He gets to skip. Yep, you got it.
And then he's like, you know what? You're a smart guy. Why are you with this KKK crew? He's like, you wouldn't understand. I'm not getting into it.
Haven't earned it.
Wow, I mean, this guy, he's like a woman you're trying to get in the bed. He's just like really making him work.
And he tells Brian, well, it's first date. he tells Brian, go to bed. Or Brian tells Tom, go to bed. And
Tom's he's in his dog bed like Milo from Cage 2, which you'll hear about in a few days.
So Brian just pulls his jacket over his face. All right, night, man. Have some good studying. If you need a study partner, that's me.
Next day, he checks in. Doug was trying to say, we need to go back and check into the precinct last night. But he's like, I know this kid can be saved. So I'm gonna risk getting chewed out by Fuller to spend the night. But when he comes in, Fuller is fucking pissed. He's like, look, motherfucker, you had me worried. I was up all night worrying you were going to get raped under the bridge. I don't know what's going on.
Come on, Fuller. Just know these people are willingly going under the bridge to get their butthole warmed. It's not a thing. Okay,
he's like, look, Fuller, I can get through this kid. He's rich. He's white. He's pure.
Like you said. He's a smart white kid.
Right.
He just needs to be set straight.
Right. He just needs a slap on the wrist. You don't need to put these guys in
jail. You could probably tell him his college career is in jeopardy if he keeps down this path, and that would do it.
But I got to get him away from this Lancer guy. He's a fucking piece of shit. Captain goes, okay, you're doing God's work.
This is interesting because the captain has chewed him out, and we know from the adult world of action movies, the captains always stick far up their ass. Right. Very angry, 2 weeks away from retirement, so they're like, get results now. But this captain's like, Hanson, fantastic job, fantastic ass, fantastic hair.
From what you said, I can tell this kid's very sensitive. So I want you to work him slowly, get results.
Make sure he's comfortable with you. Get in that bed, get those details, get into that PC, figure out if he has anything weird on it.
Don't hurt his feelings, whatever you do.
Don't hurt his feelings.
And so the next day we're at school, and Brian, like I said, you can tell he's disillusioned. He wants to
something
get away
about
from this.
Tom coming into his atmosphere, his stratosphere, has thrown his circulation around Lance off completely. Because Brian's thinking straight for the first time ever. He's like, you know what? Fuck Lancer. Let's play us a little two-hand touch. All right?
And the guy's like, what? That's for like jocks, man. We can't. That's not punk rock.
Yeah.
Who the fuck says what's punk rock and what isn't punk rock? Come on, let's do this.
Brian's speaking some truth for once.
Right.
Like, who's saying?
And Tom's like, fuck yeah, let's do this. And they all go, okay. And then, because remember, these guys have known each other since they were in grade 3.
Yes. And of course, you got a nice shot of Dougie wandering in the background. Very Doug Jones of him. And he goes, hey, Dougie, come over here. Coffee. And he walks over and he plays some football with them,
Not
too.
only is he in the background, Lancer is in the background, and he is furious.
Well, because they used his flea flicker move, but they called it the Brian special, not the Lance special.
Well, I thought he was just mad because he needs them to drive him around because he's just a loser who doesn't have a car.
That is what it was.
So he's just standing. He's all like pouting, kicking a fucking telephone pole. I don't care what you guys are doing. Meanwhile, Brian, born leader. Fucking Tom Brady reincarnated.
If he just had that flowing mane.
He's just like, all right, Omaha, hut. And then these kids will set plays for touch football.
Dude, touch football plays. And it was a perfect pick and roll. They complete the pass. They score the touchdown. They spike it. And then Spooky, in the middle of his dance, he's doing a backflip. Hey, man, Lance is looking at us. And sure enough, Lance is over there chain smoking like a motherfucker. We are seeing the background of this city. It's a suburban little town. It is just upper middle class all fucking day. Perfect lawns.
Everywhere.
Wife's outside with lemonade, just shaking it for the mailmans. The Bukowski's walking around fucking everybody. It's amazing backdrop. And then you have Lancer in the middle of it. It's very crazy.
And he gestures. Brian goes, "Oh, don't worry, I'll handle Lancer." So he goes over to Lancer, and
that beautiful scarf.
Oh my God!
This is the scarf.
He's got the total. I think Duran had it in one of their videos. It's this giant Taliban scarf. It's very unpunk. But maybe very punk because
if he had like some big sunglasses and then that like more accessories, but he just has his black sweater. His jean jacket, and then this
gigantic purple scarf.
Yeah, so it kind of stands out in an unpunk way, like you said.
Yeah, and Lancer is total punk. He's got a sword earring through his ear.
Everybody else is looking like their Breakfast Club bender, you know?
Right. Yeah. And he's just like, "What's going on here?" you guys are supposed to drive me down to the methadone clinic. And he's just like,
you know my mom needs her groceries tonight.
And he's just like, we're just having some fun. That doesn't look like fun to me. That looks like some jock shit to me.
Jocks aren't punk. I told you guys this. Mustaches and beards don't belong. Punks.
Punks and skins. Long hairs and skins. Mustache and beard. Separate. Cats and dogs. Get it? And then you see there's a little bit of power struggle. Brian's like, no, I don't think so.
Yeah, I've known these guys, like you said,
From grade
three. These are my droogs, you know? They follow me. They're my idiots. They're all in the dummy classes. I'm in the advanced class.
And Lance was like, oh, yeah, you think that? Oh, yeah, well, I could have them eaten out of the palm of my hand right now.
If I were to punch you in the mouth and make you bleed out your teeth, who do you think they would come defend, you or me?
And he's like, grade 3. And he's like, I'll give you your grade 3. And just they're talking, a cop car starts driving down the street.
We've seen these cops before at the club.
They're giving them shit at the club.
You got Carl Winslow there from Family Matters and some other undescript white cop with them.
And our boy Lancer just walks right in front of him, jaywalks.
Yeah. He's trying to win back his audience over the most anarchist way he knows how.
Right. Telling the cops to stick it.
Yeah.
The cops stop, obviously, because you cannot disrespect a cop or they will kill you. And they get out and they go, here is a
they
ticket
already have the ticket written up.
For jaywalking. And he's like, how much is this going to cost? $35. He just crumbles it up, throws it. Well, here's a ticket for littering. Well, how much is this going to cost? $85.
Oh.
Judge for inflation, Griff, that's $10,000.
Why don't you?
Especially when you do the exchange of the Canadian exchange.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And then he goes, Lancer, why don't you guys add that up for me? And when you're done calculating it with your super cop brains, I'll go ahead and pay it. Until then, I'll just lay here and wait. And he lays down on the ground.
This is so accurate. I could totally see some douche fucking suburban kid doing this.
Dude, it's totally
because he knows the cops aren't going to kick his ass.
It's a Karen. It's a Karen throwing a fit at a grocery store about wearing a mask. So he lays down on the ground, and all the droogs, Brian is scowling. The droogs, yeah, man, you tell him. And he's just like, cops, I'm just going to lay here because you're going to beat my ass anyway, so I might as well be on the ground when you start kicking my shit in. Shoot in.
And they're like, get the fuck up. They pick him up. Lancer just throws a punch at a cop.
Yeah, he punches him in the ribs.
And they rough him up, throw him in the back.
Excuse me, the kidney.
In the kidney. Take him away, haul him off in the paddy wagon.
Droogs loving it. They are good. They're foaming at the mouth.
Loving it, yet furious about it. Because they're at the park, which, all hardcore punks hang out at the park at night. And Brian, I think it was Brian, was like, look, man, it's
Dude, he's playing a harmonica.
Yes, he is.
And he's just like, guys, I think it's time to turn in for the night. I got some AP calc to do.
And they're like, what the fuck, man? They got Lancer. He's like, yes, so we got to do something. Fuck those pigs. He said, frick those pigs because it's.
Excuse me. We're getting a little too excited talking about this, so we're using swears. We're trying to correct ourselves. We might forget, but come on, guys. Remember, we did the Christian thing. We sold out for the devil because the devil's he's great.
He's got the better songs.
He's got the better songs.
So I don't know who's Jimmy. We'll call him Jimmy.
I think it was Jimmy.
Okay.
There was a Jimmy, and I think it was him.
And he's like, I got the perfect plan. I just called the cops, said there's a robbery going on at the Bayside supermarket, and I'm going to decapitate this friggin' cop.
He starts tying off some kind of apparatus to a tree, and he's going to
his plan is to hit him in the chest. But he's like, and then Hanson's like, what the hell if you fucking hit him in the neck? You'll kill him, decapitate him. All the better.
Yeah.
Penhall grabs Tom. We got to stop this shit. What the fuck's going on here?
Tom turns around. He fucking slugs the guy who's ready for murder. And the punks start fighting amongst each other. It's a heavy scene. The cop on the motorbike goes flying by. So it's like, okay, at least there's not going to be a cop murder tonight because who knows what would happen. And then Tom and Penhall, they run off to call it in.
Right.
And that's where we get our character who sung the theme song, apparently.
Yeah.
And their offices are dressed up perfectly. They're in an abandoned church, which is already cool enough. Beautiful, original wooden floors. They would give you the whole tour and tell you everything about it. She's got the cat clock where the eyes move and the tail wags. And she's got a neon, star shooting across the sky.
Man, that's cool.
Great setting, yeah.
And she's like, look, I just heard word came down, Ballhouse is ready to bust some heads. Get out of there.
Yeah, Ballhouse is dropping his balls on the punks.
He's putting his balls to the wall.
Yeah, he's going to stank him up.
So it's straight out of it's a fucking Antifa riot now because they got the tear gas, they got the tack dogs, they got the fire hoses.
This whole fucking scene triggered me. I hate police dogs. Why do we let dogs fight our fights? Fuck people.
They got the rubber bullets.
It's almost as bad. For me, it's almost as bad as what's his name. But that is worse because they make dog fighting. I don't like dogs fighting.
You and me both, buddy. And so these just busting heads, and we're like, oh shit! And it was like, why can't we just get through to these kids?
So I guess what happened is Hansen and Penhall actually go to jail, because I saw them the second time watching.
I thought they just got away.
I couldn't tell, but a bunch of the punks got, and I love this. Fuller's gonna fucking diss these quote unquote punks so hard in a minute here. They're back. Penhall and
he doesn't do it. Tom does it. Hansen.
Oh, Tom did it.
Yeah,
that's right. So he did go to jail with them because he saw it himself.
Yeah, and he's like, half these kids had their own. They paid their bail with their credit cards. Like, what kind of punks are these guys?
It explains why they couldn't come up with $5 because they don't carry cash like people do today, except you.
Yeah, I'm old school. And so, yeah, and then we learned that, is this where we learned that the kid died? Spray paint
We're
the
about
wall?
to. We learn they have some info on Lance. His name is like Nathan Knife Jr. or something. I forget what his full name. But they're like, there's an APB on him for him pulling a knife on you.
Yeah, and he's on parole, too.
Yeah,
so it's a parole violation.
So they could easily go after and get him.
And then Hansen's like, no! This Bryant kid's too special. He's too unique. I have to save him, and I know I can do it if you just let Lancer go. I got to get through to these kids.
And, of course, Fuller's coming through now, and he's got to have his conversation with them, just like, look, I get it. You got to get these kids. I think you can do this. I really think you can pull it off. But you got to remember, Ballhouse has me by the balls here. He's getting ready to do his own form of justice. And that's when I love this about Penhall. Penhall goes, oh, yeah, his form of justice, bashing skulls and fucking children. That guy is the total fucking Nazi cop. Boss does sound like a piece of shit.
He is.
I mean, we did see the
ball bag.
We saw the violent scenes. They were bashing the fuck out of those kids for breaking curfew, which reminds me of certain situations that happened last summer.
Yeah.
So, wow, 21st Jump Street, predicting the future. Good job.
21st Jump Street. So, cut to another diner.
What's with these kids? They just love their cheap coffee and nice eggs over
Apparently,
easy.
even though he has priors, Lancer, because he's white, he got out on bail because he's out of jail. And he's just like, look, man, we got to take it to these fucking pigs, man.
Real anarchism. Not like, how you guys give me a lot of your money and then I go and live with my mom and, I'm on her health care and everything.
So now we're going to learn what anarchy means to rich white kids. It means get in your car and run over mailboxes.
There's a nice little chicken fight with Brian here because Brian's like, I don't know about that. Oh, yeah? Are you a chicken? You don't call me a chicken. I don't think you can keep up with... Brian's trying to... What I'm doing here, Brian is trying to ruffle his feathers. What is the thing they do when they puff up to look bigger than they are?
Puff up, yeah.
They puff up. Brian's trying to puff up. I don't know about that, friend. You're going to be in my tracks trying to keep up with me because you're an old-timer. You're a 50-year-old drunk hanging out with teenagers. We're going to run circles around you, bud. And then we hit... those streets. You see, we still got Dougie and Tom in the picture, and their faces, they're shaking their heads.
Disappointed. They're like, I thought I was getting through to these kids.
How do we get through to these kids? They're not even eating their fucking scrambled eggs. They're so disgusted. They thought they had them in their palm. And then, let's go to your montage.
Montage of mailbox and lawn jockey
We play Bloodstained again. I don't remember the words to the song.
Speed kills.
Speed
cars,
kills.
Cheap thrills. Rich girls. Fine wine. I lost my sense. I lost control. I lost my mind. And so, yeah, they're smashing. All they're doing is smashing mailboxes and lawn jockeys.
And trash cans. So
And they break one, door.
Break one
wooden,
glass
door.
Yeah. And we cut to Fuller. Oh, my God. Hanson, those kids of yours.
You're not getting through.
Murray, go ahead and do the mental math now.
Okay.
$150,000 worth of damage.
$7.5 million.
Mailboxes, garbage cans, a lawn jockey, and one glass door.
Yes.
So
$7.5 million.
this is perfect Karen math that's happening right now.
Well, that's what they're going to tell their insurance that it was.
Exactly.
Yeah. And
So
Hanson's like, it's still just vandalism. Who gives a shit? This is good, clean, white kid fun.
All right, pal, I got to slow you down right there. I don't know why I'm doing Vince McMahon voice. I got to slow you down there.
Pally.
Spray paint kid over in the hospital. Yeah, he had a blood clot from the broken hand. Went straight up to his brain. It was like he had a stroke. Coldest butthole I've ever seen on a kid. 9 years old. 9 years old. 9th grade.
Did they take his temperature through his butthole?
Yeah, of course
like
they did.
Like he's a year old?
Like a tree. They stuck a thermometer in his butthole, and they were like, 4 rings. 9 rings, rather.
And Hanson's like, I got to talk to Brian. So he goes over to Brian's, and he's like, come on, man. What the hell's going on here? He's like, what am I supposed to do? Go back to being some jock or geek or something? Yes! That's what a normal, well-adjusted kid is, a jock.
Look at you. You got a PC.
When's the last time you taped someone's butt cheeks closed? When's the last time you stuck a broomstick up someone's ass in good, clean fun?
What time did you make? When was the last time you made a guy pick up a cherry off a block of ice with his butt cheeks?
When's the last time you fucked a girl who was unconscious from drinking?
Have you ever even seen a poodle with shades and a hat on? You have so much to live for. College. See how we did that? Because he's going to go on and be one of the Warriors.
Young Warriors.
Young Warriors.
Well, fuck, he's gonna get real disillusioned and kill himself. But
he was the animator kid. Had to be him.
and just as he thinks he's getting through, Lancer just shows up.
Yeah, horns honking, and we just get a scene break. And we come to, and we got Lancer breaking into Spooky's house, stealing shotguns or something.
Yeah, it's his house, and it's like, I have the key to my dad's gun rack. You don't need to like break the window. I'm fucking anarchy, man.
Woo! He's throwing up horns. He's fucking blacking wrists. My hands are tied here. I don't know what to do. Like,
While that's going on, Pennell and Hanson, they're arming themselves. They got a wire. They're going to get the shit they need to put Lancer away. Because once the Lancer is in jail and being raped, then these kids will straighten up.
excuse me, did you mention they have guns now too?
Yes, they have guns.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, they're cops. Of course they have guns.
Of course they do.
And I guess they're at the park again or something. And they got
They're on the beach.
This is how hardcore they are. They set
They've
a bench
taken over
on
the
fire.
They took over the. Oh yeah, that's right. They did go to the. They set up fucking. What the fuck?
Bench on fire. These kids are real fucking anarchists now, man.
Yeah.
They're destroying fucking public property.
Mm.
Taxpayers are gonna have to pay for that, Griff. And he's giving another one of his anarchy speeches. We're going to go there to the police station, and we're going to shoot guns near them and scare them.
Yup. And Tom and Dougie are there. Tom has heard enough. I think that's a pretty dumb plan, you thick-headed milkshake. See, I kept it clean there this time. I remembered. And Lance is beside himself. You said what?
The power slipping array, like Fuller said, he's a god.
Yeah.
And he's losing his power.
Fuller did say, okay, if you're going to go after this Fuller guy, just remember, he is a god to these kids, and he's got nothing. So if you take these kids away from him.
Once again, very accurate portrayal of a person.
If you take 100%. If you take these kids away from him and he loses his god status, who knows what'll do?
And we turned out he'll just shoot guns in the vicinity of cops.
Just near their ears.
Just to scare them.
Just scare them. He just wants to spook people. Because, again, he's a scaredy little white suburban upper class guy. So after Tom pipes up, Brian, he finds his courage again. He's puffing up again. He wants to take over.
Right.
So he's like, yeah, man, I got to tell you, it is a really fucking lame plan. Why are we going to go fuck up the police? The police are pretty cool. They're pretty nice. They're okay.
You're going too far, man.
Ballhouse had all the right to sick the dogs and beat our asses with nightsticks. It was totally cool. They shot us with rubber bullets. No big deal. It was all in good faith.
And he goes up to Spooky and Jimmy and Goober and Gomer, and he's just like, look, man, this isn't you. We're not. This is stupid. And he's working on Lancer's fucking panicking. He doesn't know what the fuck.
Oh yeah, he's telling them. He's like, look, guys, remember when we used to be in the basement and we used to play D&D together. We could have that again. We could go back to just being fucking cool, 4-ass friends. We could play some
All
football.
of a sudden, they're the Stranger Things characters.
Yes, they are. We're going to play some cool
Go to the Upside Down or where the fuck that place is called.
Yeah, I don't remember. People brag about that show. It's whatever. So they're getting all into it. And then Lance, he pulls his last power move. He wants to show that despite all Brian's efforts, he's still got the Droogs on his side. So he takes that big old pump action shotgun. He chicks it 4 times.
He just shoots fucking bullets out. He doesn't realize you can't cock 1 bullet 4 times. But
And he throws it over to Spooky. And Spooky's just like, well, man, I got to tell you, I was actually, this whole thing about the D&D sounds pretty cool. A Mountain Dew, and I hear pizza, and then we were going to watch some scramble porn, so I'm into that. Like, I haven't seen boobs in a long time. No girls are showing up to these punk rock concerts.
Very accurate thing again. This is the most accurate fucking episode. I thought when we first did it, we're going to be ragging on it. I'm like, holy shit, this is like torn from real life.
So if you were one of the Droogs, which one would you be? Which of the Droogs closest resemble Tim?
I'd probably be Brian. I would be, because I was a smart kid.
Oh, and you wore the scarf, and you...
I love the fucking giant scarves. I wear those now. So Lancer just storms out, harumph! And like, I guess what happens to him? We don't know.
He just disappears
goes
into the
bridge.
distance, and
He literally disappears. He disintegrates because he doesn't have the fucking admiration of these dumb kids.
He was like a David Lynch manifestation of evil, and he just dissipated because Brian defeated him. That's all he needed to get out of the suburbs.
Brian goes up. Tom goes, great job, and he's like, but he's nuts. He'll come back and kill me.
I don't know if he's gonna come back and try to kill me.
Hanson whips out the fucking badge. He ain't doing shit.
Oh my God! Brian gives fucking Tom the biggest hug. I knew I should have trusted Brian. I will give him credit. He's a good judge of character. Don't know how he fell in, but at least he was a little reluctant to the whole thing. But.
So Brian and Hanson go off for some coffee, some late night coffee. Another diner.
Brian tells all the punks they all accept him as a leader now. He says,
Right.
"Hey everybody, go home, touch your own buttholes tonight."
Warm up your own buttholes. And I'm going to warm my butthole with a nice cup of coffee. So they go to another diner.
Another diner. I love this town. There's diners everywhere.
Diner capital of the world.
This is why I need to go to Vancouver. I want to hang out.
And so they're just rapping a little. And Brian, he feels like he's made a bond with Tom. He's like, I got to admit something. I was driving the car that killed that kid. Spray Paint Boy, I think, was his government name.
Yeah.
And
Brian, you realize what you just did, right?
It's like, I got to arrest you.
I gotta take you in. Hey.
If I can't do the crime, I can't do the time, I shouldn't do the crime.
Yep.
And then we just get a nice crane fade out.
Yep. And they're just stirring that coffee.
And Brian's just thinking about how he's gonna get his butt warmed up every night in prison because he's a fucking pretty little boy with a scarf.
I don't know if his bridge work has been helping him, get his butt ready for
his bridge
prison.
doesn't get knocked out, so.
Oh, you're talking teeth.
Yeah, so you can suck some dick.
Oh, okay.
He's gonna get brutalized and raped and ruined in prison.
Do you think that's gonna happen, or do you think he's gonna go in front of the
No,
judge?
he'll get slapped on the wrist, and they'll get like 2 years of like whatever probation.
Yeah, I don't know what lawyer he'll get, but he'll be like, he's in the advanced classes. He does calculus. He didn't rape a girl behind a trash can that was passed out. And even if he did,
she was drunk.
He's just a boy being a boy. Boys will be boys. So he got off.
Yeah.
Is the story of this tale.
Yes. No lessons learned.
No lessons learned.
So there you have it, people. An accurate portrayal of suburban punk rock.
And it only took us about 30 more minutes than the episode took.
So enjoy that. And I guess we'll see you for our next Tippy-Tap whenever that happens.